Conversation at the dinner table about it, talking to your parents, talking to your peers, talking to your nieces and nephews, can be very, very important. That I really don't know too much about. I wasn't really allowed to deal with social media, so I don't know exactly what's out there. But he would say that he was a music producer and even went to the great lengths of actually owning a record
issue. So get those cards, give them out today. If you do that today, you're already started in this pursuit. But we have more, so if you feel that you can give out more than 5, go back there and we'll give you more. Thank you.
It's when you told me your story, it was about how you were caught and you couldn't say anything about your child because your trafficker had him. What can I do to reach somebody who has those issues so that they can?
But his consistency and just him listening to me.
I would like to say that this mic is open before she asks her question, so if anybody else needs to...
What's happening is that people are failing to see it. So if we fail, these cards will give you a little bit of information about human trafficking. They will give you phone numbers that you can give out to someone you need.
What was said, I don't know where you are right now, but with...
How many of you have talked to people on the internet that you've never met? Come on, raise your hand, be honest. Now this is the big question, and be honest.
Okay, great, awesome. What you see here is a guide to what you're going to be doing this afternoon, but I'm here to tell you that you can apply this time during lunch, 20 minutes to talk. Okay, so I'm going to spirit. I go, did I really just see this? How did this happen? And she says, I'm seeing 25-cent chocolate bar that we pick up and consume without any thought. We would get 100. We ended up with 300. The people were standing around the room, and we said, cannot make change unless you have a public policy change for the American Civil Rights Movement.
I'm currently working on my master's in guidance and counseling. I've been working in Broward County Public Schools for the last 11 years. How can we involve the education system in this?
Okay, so shift that from a question to say, I want to get the educational system involved. I'm going to let other people become aware of, and we went on a fundraising campaign to raise money. And I'm sorry, Kieran, I'm going to call you out. So we announced a campaign.
Miami-Dade County in February adopted an ordinance that follows the law.
How do you go from gathering all those people to actually changing a policy? Do you go on march? Do you get signatures? Do you I'm gonna be 18 in November.
In November?
Yeah.
Okay. September, October, November. You will be a voter.
Okay. Can you just spell your first and last name for me?
Sure. Marilyn, Marilyn. Last name is March, March.
And can you say your position for me?
I'm the executive director of the Women's Fund of Miami-Dade County.
Okay. Why did you helped organize this event today?
Yes, we did.
And what was the relevance of this?
What happened, the Women's Fund of Miami-Dade has been working on human trafficking since 2008. And we were contacted by the International Institute on Human Trafficking out of Atlanta, Georgia, to do a convening of our two organizations to share with college students and get college students involved in creating a campaign on their campus to educate and advocate for our victims of human trafficking.
So why college students? Why is it important?
Well, we think it's really important for young people because they are also a target of the predators, the pimps, to be aware of some of the tricks of the trade, that they could get involved in human trafficking without even knowing it. 67% of a lot of the young, let me start over again. 67 young people out of 87 that were recently interviewed on trafficking were all from regular families. We also highlight a film called Tricked, which highlights a college student that went to Northwestern University and ended up trafficked for many years. So it's a target audience, number one. And number two, young people need to really be aware and also to advocate. They are the future of our world, and this has become a $32 billion industry worldwide. So the education and the opportunity to really understand it and to advocate and to help us prevent the growth of it is critical.
So I know that this is a huge issue in just the city of Miami and especially in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it such an issue in Miami, and why has it stayed such a large issue? Like, why hasn't it gotten smaller?
Well, I think because there's a couple reasons. First, South Florida is a transient city. We have a lot of different countries, people coming in from other countries, but it's one of the largest populations in the United States, the South Florida, the 5-county area of South Florida. So I think that's one of the reasons. The other reason is that trafficking is a lot of drug dealers back in the 80s and 90s had to buy drugs. They don't have to buy girls. They get a girl. They earn one girl can earn up to $150,000 a year for one pimp. So why buy drugs or sell drugs when you have to go out and risk yourself for prosecution, when you can get a traffic victim and have 5 or 6 of them, and you don't have to recreate the wheel? Because that's really the true reason why trafficking has become, I believe, a huge industry.
Do you think that this event, and particularly helping college students and young people learn how to campaign, is the right direction in creating change?
It's one of the directions. We feel that, again, they are the future. Policy changes. We have been successful in changing laws. The Safe Harbor Act, which now treats a child under the age of 18 as a victim, not as a prostitute, where they are actually receive health care benefits and get all the mental, hopefully, with enough services to be able to overcome what they've survived.
And the event today, is there a new sort of technique that needed to be taught as far as teaching campaigns, or is it just?
I think it's just it's an opportunity to maybe educate some of the college students how about going about a campaign and what the steps are and what you do, but really that it's up to them. It is up to them to take the information they got today, for example, these cards that we have that talk about trafficking, and give out 10 to 10 people they know and share with them, and to go to the website. We also had CNN here today. They have an incredible opportunity for students to learn more. Our website has a lot of information on Stop Sex Trafficking Miami. There's a lot of organizations working on it. But education is key, as we know, and activism has to come with knowledge. And so by learning about it today, we are hopeful that they will establish their own local campaigns. That we have 5 or 6 universities represented here today. That they will, a lot of them have started their own campaigns. But again, campaigns can be either successful or unsuccessful, and so we're hopeful that some of the things they learned today will help for them to be successful campaigns.
Alicia Wilson, ALISIA WILSON.
Okay, and why did you decide to come here today?
Well, actually, I'm a student at St. Thomas University, and actually it was like broadcast there, advertised on my campus. And I found it very important to attend this because my major is psychology and mine is criminal justice. So I find it important to that extent because after finishing college, university, I will actually want to work with the law enforcement on these type of cases with child abuse, human trafficking. So it's something new for me to learn in this field. It's important because my major is psychology and also minor in criminal justice. So for me, attending this event, I learned a lot about human trafficking, and because in the future I want to work with the law enforcement on cases, juvenile cases, sex abuse, child abuse, different cases under that same umbrella. Well, I think to a certain extent, it is a lack because being in class, you're learning the theory part, and coming to these type of events, you are learning what is going on the field. Like today, for example, I listened to one of the survivors, Melissa, and hearing her story was very heartbreaking, you know. So it's just a different view in class and also getting there on the field. She's a woman just as I am, and human trafficking can happen to any one of us. You know, how she got involved in it, it was a very sad case, and I feel myself like, hey, that could have happened to me just as well, you know.
Melissa Schwartz, Schwartz.
Okay, let me make sure this looks okay on my arm. Oh, okay, that's good. All right, and could you just tell me why you decided to come today to speak?
I really want to educate the public on what's going on with my story, so that they can see how real it is and how it's affecting everyone. And I also wanted to share for prevention and just kind of hopes that people will get involved and do something and try to end this modern day slavery. That I'm a survivor, that I was taken when I was 16 and trafficked for 10 years, and endured and seen some pretty horrific things, and I lived to tell about it, survived it, and overcame, and am moving forward. Physically, I was taken to jail and wasn't given a bond, but I escaped most of the bondage with God, because there was a physical bondage, but there was so much spiritual and emotional and just so many chains that even after I was rescued, I was still in chains because I was fearful, because I didn't believe in myself, and I was so low because of the trauma, the screams that I would hear, and the PTSD, and there was just so much that kept me from moving forward. So even though I was taken away, I was still paralyzed. God. And to some people it might sound cliche, but really that release the strongholds in my life to where I was able to receive from other people, receive help, receive nourishment for the mind and soul. And there's different organizations that help me with other things, like independent living and learning how to just do normal things adults do, and like Agape and There's Hope for Me and Glory House. It took the whole community to contribute to me being able to move forward. People need to be more aware. A lot of this happens and nobody is seeing it. It's happening during the day, it's happening at night when people are sleeping, and nobody is recognizing this. And if they do see it, they don't see it as a bad thing. They see it as somebody that is just providing a service, that wants to do it. They don't see what's really going on behind closed doors. It is or was a secret society. And now within like the last few years, it's being, publicized, and there's been movements and everything to basically put a light on the secret society that, hey, we see you, and there's something that's going to happen. We're going to stop this. We see what you're doing. We see that it is wrong. Police, they need to be more educated on the topic, that these girls are victims and not criminals. They need to see it differently. They need to be more visual on where these pimps are and what they're doing, and that what they're doing is wrong. They need more education on how to respond first. I've been surprised by how many people care. I really didn't think there was anybody that cared, and to see the compassion and humanity helped me want to be a part of it. Like, okay, yeah, I can be a part of this, the community, because they're not all bad. They're not bad people. They do care. They do want to help. They don't judge. People used to walk the streets with signs and stuff to get the prostitutes off their streets, because it was such too good of a neighborhood for the girls. But they didn't say anything else about anything else. That's how blind people were. They just seemed like, oh, these prostitutes, and they're not like, oh my gosh, who in the world wants to be doing this? They didn't think that, like, okay, there's somebody forcing them to do this, because nobody really wants to go out and sleep with hundreds of men for nothing, because their money's getting taken from them, so they're doing it for nothing.
BIANCA CIPRIANI.
Okay. When did you join NOW and why?
I have been with NOW since its conception here on the University of Miami campus about 3 years ago. I didn't have a formal position then, but last year I was the treasurer, and this year I am the fundraising chair for the organization. Close friends of mine actually started it up, so that was obviously a draw towards it, but I also just think that having a National Organization for Women chapter on college campuses is important across the board nationally. I'd like to see them pop up more, and I just think that we do a lot of really great things here, even just for local Miami-Dade County, and so that was really my big draw for coming to this organization.
And why did you guys decide to table here at this event?
We were actually reached out to by the IHTI, which we were thrilled and honored about. They asked us to participate. Last year, we did a lot of work involving human trafficking. We held a panel here on campus and had speakers from local attorneys to even some survivors themselves. So this is something that we've always been very vocal about, and I think that all the work that we've done kind of made it possible for people to want to reach out to us and for us to get to co-sponsor and co-host events like this, and hopefully we'll be able to have more in the future. Human trafficking is something that's very important to our chapter because Miami is the second largest human trafficking city in the United States. It's something that happens right under our noses, unfortunately, so we're very adamant about making it known and actually finding ways for people to be active against it. It's one thing to know about something, and it's another thing to actually have opportunities to fight it.
So why do you think this event today was important in actually creating change?
I think that because it was so activity focused, which is unfortunately not something that is always done when events like this are hosted. I know that a few of our speakers panels in the past were, while very informative, kind of ended on that informative note rather than giving people the opportunity to go out and serve their community for the better. So I think the fact that the University of Miami is holding this is a huge deal. I think that it's something that a lot of people overlook. It's easy to. It's not exactly 100% in your face all the time. It's not something people like to think about. So I think that having something like this where so many different minds can come together and really discuss, ways to combat it is very important for the cause. To have different voices come together with different ideas, different strategies, is really like how we're going to tackle this.
Was there anything said by any of the speakers that stood out to you or taught you something new today?
I really enjoyed the Publix and Wendy's campaigns that were discussed at the beginning of this campaign section. I think that it's important that labor trafficking is discussed as well as sex trafficking. I think that's, while all of it is, everyone is pretty unaware of all of it, it's definitely even more so that people are unaware of it, if that makes sense. I'm not sure of what I just said.
Okay, you can say it again if you want to.
I think that it's important that people also focus on labor trafficking. It's probably more hidden just because it's, not as like culturally spooky. People don't talk about it as much. So I think that I think that was probably my favorite part of today, was to listen to the campaigns that are here, not only for us locally here with things like child sex trafficking, stuff like that, and to also have people come here and talk about even like the Florida-wide issue with certain labor trafficking, things like that. I think that it's pretty great that that's like something that's being addressed as well, because it's even more prevalent in our day-to-day lives. You don't realize like the food you eat could be coming from places where they are not ethically treating their workers, and you don't always know what to do about it, even when you do find out. So I think that's a really important part of today.
Okay.
Can you tell her? Oh, there she is. Yeah, can you remind her?
In Miami, children are sold for labor and sex as young as 13 years old. Today, important messages were talked about, such as warning signs to look for human trafficking victims, such as injuries or branding tattoos that reference money.